tell you all the story about the time I broke my crush's ankle when I was a kid. Okay, now before you condemn me to hell, before you unsubscribe from Jacksepticeye, and before you all go straight to social media and brandish me as the worst human being of all time, let me set up the scene a little bit. Because I feel like when you guys have the context, it's probably not going to be any better. Many years ago, when I was a wee babby lad in Ireland, because I was in primary school, or like the middle school type of time for some people in the world, I don't know. I was 12 years old. When is that for you? And in my class, there were 6 boys and 6 girls. It's not always like that. It wasn't planned to be as balanced out as it was. Thanos wasn't my principal. I had a crush on this girl who was in my class. Let's call them Sandra. Now, as much as I would love to slide in to class and just be like, hey baby, how you doing? That wasn't the case. I didn't know what I was doing, so the way I expressed my interest in girls in my class was pure violence. We ended up playing this game called Bulldog. We would play this game and we would get really aggressive with it. We were so aggressive with it that the teachers had to stop us. That we kind of put our own spin on what Bulldog was, and we would just straight up tackle each other. And boys, girls, man, woman, child, priest, or prostitute, it didn't matter. We would mow you down with the sheer force of a 10-year-old and beat you into the ground with as much force as we could. 20 people would go out into the field, and one person would get the ball, and whoever had the ball had to try and keep it away from everybody else. But if you had the ball, you were fair game to be murdered, and legs running 90 after them. And I got the ball a couple of times, but I would always kick it away immediately because I was terrified of everyone crushing my tiny body. But one thing led to another, and Sandra got the ball, and at this time, testosterone was fueling my body. I was a young man on the cusp of manhood. I was ready to show my worth to the world and be like, no, I'm not small and scrawny. I'ma tackle this girl. So the ball went her way. And me trying to show my affection in the best way I know possible, which was sheer brute force, I went and tackled her. I tackled Sandra, but what I didn't know was that her foot was in a hole, in a little divot in the grass. And when I tackled her, I didn't just push her over, I pushed her and her foot got caught in this divot and just kind of twisted and her ankle snapped. Now, I didn't know that this had happened at the time. All I did was stood up, dusted myself off and went, ha, got him. But Sandra didn't get back up off the ground. If anything, she was crying her eyes out and everybody else came rushing over and looking me in the eye to be like, what did you do? So we brought her into the classroom and our teacher at the time started looking into it, and lo and behold, we found out that her ankle was broken. I sat in my shame all day in that classroom. This lasted about a month because my classmates hated me at first. They got over it in a couple of days because kids be kids. We just went out and started murdering each other again all over 2 days later. But all my classmates hated me, but no one hated me more than the teacher did. Actually, no one hated me more than I hated myself at that moment because I felt absolutely awful. It was one of the worst feelings I had in my entire life because not only did I break someone's ankle, I broke a girl's ankle, and it was the girl who I had a big crush on. Somebody that I wanted to be like, hey, will you like me? No, what did I do? Crunch. But after she went to the hospital, we were all sitting in the classroom doing, I don't know, math. I think we actually were doing math, and we had to go around the classroom answering. Everybody had to give an answer to each of the sums that were coming up, and it came to me, and I have never seen the devil incarnate like I did with my teacher that day. And it came to me, she asked me the question, 2 + 2, I put up my hand, said 5, teacher, and she looked at me as if to say, how dare you answer? I think she actually told me to shut up at one point. That I was talking to my friends and she just looked at me and went, shut up! And it got so bad that the parents of Sandra had to come to my house to make sure that I was okay. I was so afraid to see them that I didn't come out of my room. I just listened to what my parents were saying with her parents through the door. I couldn't really make any of it out. But there was a shining light through it all. After about a month, It wasn't even really a month. It was like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Sandra was back in school and she was doing fine and everybody was back to normal. And she even started talking to me again. And my heart, my little baby heart, eased my suffering once more. But I never forgot the day that I broke my crush's ankle as a kid. But in the end, she did kind of become my girlfriend a tiny bit. And we ended up kissing. And, you know, life worked out. So what I'm trying to say is, breaking her ankle was fate, and it brought us closer together. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. I've always had this story, and I never really knew what avenue to tell it in. I've always wanted to do something and talk about it, but I didn't want to be like, hey, story time. Because everyone was doing story times at one point. But now I'm a story time YouTuber. I have plenty of stories from my childhood growing up in Ireland. Some of them I told in the tour. But if you want to hear more stories from my childhood, if you want to hear more stories from me growing up or my past or anything, let me know. I have plenty of stories to share and these are kind of fun to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Oh, and remember, drink lots of milk because then your bones will be strong and an idiot like me won't break them.
She got me going psycho. She got me going down, down, down. Got me living on a tightrope. She got me going down, down, down. She got me going psycho. She got me going down.